Okay. I hope you all now know what is the essays canvas. Okay, let's start off now. Essays canvas क्या है? Okay, there is a step one where you understand the topic, and there is a step two where you scope the topic. Scope the topic का मतलब होता है to decide what all your topic must have. Okay, in terms of elaborations, what areas you can touch, what areas you should avoid, what areas should you elaborate and detail, analyze, that is scoping. और scoping का एक part था developing the structure of the essay, and the other part was detailing the essay. Okay, and you know the steps, how to structure and how to detail. And okay, I had said apply some tools. Apply some tools में I said use the nudge effect, use the 5 principles. Okay, कुछ art से, कुछ personalities से, कुछ summits से, take up some summit, some broad national level, some meet has happened. So the principles. Then we talked about the 4 circles. The 4 circles is actually a part of the nudge effect. Okay, how you can increase the quality of your discussions. For abstract essay, I had suggested use the principle of 5 R's. 5R principle, and finally, of course, for examples, use PPT. Okay, so ये आपका more or less. And in detailing, I said there are 2 ways of detailing. One is you can use pestle principle, but pestle principle I'm not very keen about. I said use the other tools. Use social media, globalization, talk about inequalities, talk about gender, talk about issues of governance, disaster management. See if you can link it to issues of education, okay, climate change. So this helps your essay become more and more, okay, specific. Okay, 5R and 4 circle keep examples. पूनम बेटा ये repeat हो जाएगा ना, मैंने एक बार बताया हुआ है. At this time we'll end up repeating the whole thing then. Okay, 5R for abstract essays, and you get into rephrasing the essay, look for reasons, refuse, okay, talk about relevance from India perspective, and finally you also talk about reaffirming or reasserting what you have said. ठीक है, तो कर लिया है हमने प्रज्ञा, अपूना. अगर मिस किया है तो okay, look up. You should have the recordings and the notes with you also. Look that up, please, Poonam. ठीक है. So this is the canvas of the essay. Anybody, any problem with understanding this? I think you should be able to manage eventually. Revise your notes. Now, one important part which is left in our conversation is the conclusions. Okay. ये आपका last part of the essay है. Okay, so if you remember the structuring of the essay, the introduction, we have the body, we have the conclusion. Okay, introduction includes the hook, the thesis, and includes narration. Okay, the body is the elaboration, जिसमें dimensions आ जाता है, and these dimensions can be developed by different tools. Okay, you have the specific questions, you have the generic questions. Okay, apply those tools like nudge effect, apply 5R, apply the 5 principles, and so on. Okay, so this part you understand now. Now come towards conclusion of the essay. A conclusion of the essay is again not one paragraph. See, ये mistake होता है. Most of us are of the opinion, sir, the conclusion is the last paragraph. I say no. Conclusion is never the last paragraph in an essay. See, there is one type of write-up called as 5 paragraph essays. Some of you would have done this. 5 paragraph essays में क्या होता है? There is one paragraph which is the introduction, and the introduction generally is the thesis. And then there are 3 paragraphs which is the body, Okay, the fifth paragraph जो है, this is the conclusion. This is true for a 5 paragraph essay. ये पूरा essay निपट जाता है 2.5 or 3 pages में, it's over. So when it's a 5 paragraph essay, then we say the conclusion is 1 paragraph. But हमारे essays में conclusion is not 1 paragraph. Yes, conclusion in our essays will be across 2 to 3 pages sometimes. So अगर आप 10 पेज लिख रहे हो, okay, say 1, 2, 3, okay, this is your essay. Okay, 10 pages approximately, okay, it is equal to about, okay, 1000 to 1200 words. अगर एब्स्ट्रैक्ट ऐसे है तो 800-900 वर्ड भी ठीक है. Okay, so anything in the range of 8 to 12 pages is good enough. So 10 pages is what I have taken, and I say about 2.5 page. Okay, so approximately about 20% of your essay is introduction. तो वैसे ही यहाँ पर 2.5 page, around 20% of the essay is your conclusion. And across these remaining, okay, 6 odd pages, you are developing approximately 5 to 6 dimensions, and you are good to devote, okay, about 1 to 1.5 page. It could also be 4 dimensions per dimension. कोई भी idea को to elaborate and do justice with it, you have to write about 100 odd words, 150 odd words. So conclusion जो है, okay, जो conclusion है, I see the conclusion not as 1 paragraph. The conclusion is an idea. देखो conclusion, okay, इसमें होता क्या है? You are winding up the essay. Okay, you are going to wrap up the essay. You are going to reaffirm your stand. Okay, you are going to assert some solutions. So the essay जो conclusion है, conclusion कभी एक paragraph नहीं होता है. So if it is 2.5, okay, page or 2 pages approximately, this means your conclusion is approximately about 5 to 7 paragraph. एक पेज में आराम से 2.5 paragraphs आ जाता है. If this is your page with your margins, if you write properly, okay, you can have 1 paragraph, a second paragraph, and maybe the beginning sentences of a third paragraph. So if you write about 2.5 page, 5 से 7 paragraph together is the conclusion. And I said conclusion का objective क्या है? Conclusion is winding up the topic. Winding का मतलब आप किताब बंद कर रहे हो. एक आप chapter बंद कर रहे हो. You're wrapping up your discussions. And whatever stand you have taken, say I have taken a stand, X is the most important thing that we must do. So you reaffirm your stand. You'll have to reassert that this is what my stand is based on the arguments we have given. You can also assert some solutions. You can offer solutions here. Okay, your conclusion can be around 3-4 things. Okay, you can summarize, reassert your position. You can give a solution if it's a problem you are debating about, and you can also talk about something futuristic. Okay, these are the 4 elements of your conclusion. Summarize, आपने जो कहा है summarize कर लो, फिर reassert कर लो. Okay, summarization is quickly mention couple of reasons and then reassert. Therefore, this is what I believe. Okay, having said it, अगर scope है, some solutions you can talk about here. Okay, and something futuristic, as in future में, what can be the future if some things are done or something are not done. Say for example, like the topic that you had as an assignment, okay, that the destiny of a nation is in the classrooms. ये टॉपिक मैं डिस्कस नहीं किया है. I'll come back on this. Okay, so you should have some arguments. आपने कुछ किया. Okay, now you are trying to summarize. Summarize कैसे किया जाता है? You summarize the discussion by saying therefore, hence. Okay, say this and say. Okay, now when you are summarizing, to ensure you are not repetitive, summarization and reassertion should also be a type of rephrasing. जो आपने rephrase पहले किया था. Okay, remember we had a list of alternate words. Okay, you have used alternate words in the thesis. Okay, say the word called education. Education के alternate words क्या हैं? Okay, teaching, learning, schools, colleges, socialization. Okay, education could imply books. Okay, it implies wisdom. Yes, ऐसे कुछ words हैं. Okay, education could be formal education, could be informal education. A whole list here. So thesis में you probably have used 2 or 3 words. जो आपके 2-3 और words बच गए हैं. Okay, bring them here now. Okay, so education. Okay, so when you are summarizing and reasserting, you again rephrase the same idea को दोबारा बोलो. Okay, and where possible, you can also add a solution here. Okay, so now that destiny of a nation is in the classrooms, we need to reform our classrooms, we need to develop a better syllabus, we need to train our teachers. Students have to be encouraged to go and join the schools. In recent times, we must also focus on online medium, because no matter what, education and schooling should not stop. Okay, because of disruptions in economy and because of health issues, we must ensure education remains the most important component. We have to find ways how we can keep on educating for the betterment of the nation. अब वही कहना solutions and futuristic. Okay, that if we can do this, India can rapidly become XYZ. If we can do this, India can expect a windfall of these kind of benefits. And if we do not do this, probably we run the risk of having a nation which is saddled and burdened by a very large population who are probably unemployable. Yes, you can do so, Neha. आपको कुछ example देना है, आप दे सकते हो. So my point is that these are the 4 elements of a conclusion. So मैंने आपको 2 चीज बताया. एक तो बताया मैंने that your conclusions are never one paragraph. एक paragraph नहीं होता है. Okay, the conclusions are spread over 2.5 pages. Okay, and then I'm saying the conclusion, okay, can have 4 elements. You can do that, Hemapriya, but conclusion में can you not assert some specific solutions by repeating them? Or can you mention conclusion थोड़ी पूरा essay है. In the essay, she's asking me, what Hema is asking me is, sir, if our dimension has a solution aspect, then how do we write it again? Dimension में solution अपने आप में across 1 page है. Okay, just hit the 1 paragraph about summarizing what the solution can be. So the solution here is not necessarily the elaboration that you have in the main essay. Okay, तो ये solution is not the detailing. Remember this. ये solution जो है ये detailing नहीं है. See, there are 2 things here. आपके main essay में, or maybe let me go back to that page. Wait. यहां से आपका solution शुरू हुआ, and you are writing the solution right across 1 to 1.5 page लिखा आपने. The solution discussion, which is part of the body, is a very elaborate solution. इसमें examples दिया आपने, schemes का नाम लिया यहाँ पर. You probably have discussed the pros and cons. This is the detailed treatment of solution. लेकिन जो solution यहाँ पर लिख रहे हो आप, this solution is a short 1 paragraph. यहाँ पर solution is a short one wisdom or 2 or 3 wisdom points. Okay. Yes, in many cases, Hema, you're right. In many cases, in the body, you probably have not mentioned the solution because the topic does not demand the solution. You're right. Okay. So, उस case में क्या है? The solution can be shifted to the part of the conclusion. So, आप यहाँ पर solution रखो ना रखो, you can still have 2 or 3 lines of discussions which are like wisdom in your solution based conclusion. Can we insert quote? Yes, you can insert quotes. Okay, you can insert quotes. Okay, can the conclusion have facts? Yes, you can have facts again. जब आप reassert कर रहे हो, when your conclusion is a type of reasserting, the reasserting can also be using certain facts and data here. Okay, so these are the 4 elements. Like for example, India is a great society. The statement I want to write on, India is a great society. Your thesis, okay, or say, let me take you through this. The hook is, India is a nation with 3,000 years of civilization history and a myriad diversity of languages, religion, okay, cultures, and development. This is my hook thesis. India is a great society. Our country, Bharat, okay, also called Hindustan, is one of the greatest nations, one of the most fascinating cultures in the world. ये मेरा thesis बन गया. Come towards narration. Narration में I can use some Coates principle. Okay. Unlike some of the more recent countries like Australia or New Zealand, unlike other countries of Asia, okay, India has one of the oldest civilizations. India and China, okay, are among the most ancient cultures. Like I'm comparing. I can use the origin, the beginnings of India traced to the Harappan civilizations. But before that, we had some cultures. Apply the origin. Describe India. India is a land of more than 1,000 languages and dialects. India is a land of the origin of at least 5 major religions. I'm describing. India is a home of at least 8 races. I'm describing. Give examples. Some of the unique cultures of India. Give some examples. Okay. So my topic I'm taking up is India is a great society. I began with a hook. I have a thesis. I have a narration. Narration में मैंने comparison narration use कर लिया if I want to do. I have done origin type of narration. I have gone for description type of narration. Okay, I'm describing. Okay, narration. Then I move on towards the body. Body में, okay, up to me what technique I can use. Okay, a technique में I can use the nudge principle. I can use the specific dimensions. India is a great society because number one, we have city, because we are the only society that fought back colonial powers using non-violence. We are great. We are great because, okay, despite the odds against us, we have remained united as a nation for more than 70 years, despite all the odds. We are great because, okay, our contributions to art, okay, culture is tremendous. We are great because we are also a very important player in terms of technology. Okay, go on there. Body में आपको reasons देना, आपने reasons दे दिया इसमें. Okay, your hook and thesis need not have everything, but body में आप elaborate कर रहे हो. Why are we a great society? Okay, elaborate this. Give examples. Okay, develop questions. What makes us great? Okay, our constitution, our democratic systems, our institutions. Go on there. Now come towards the conclusion. Having said all this, conclusion में, therefore, our country, okay, is a great society. Therefore, our nation is a unique, okay, society. Okay, you have summarized here. Yes, we are a great society. We are a great society because of our cultural diversity, because of our technological progress, because the way we have fought exploitation, okay, because of the diversity of art and culture. You go on there, okay. यहां पर क्या किया है आपने? You have taken up one dimensions and elaborated it. When I say diversity, आपने उसको elaborate किया है. When you say we are united despite the odds, आप यहां पर समझा दिया है आधे पेज में. Art and culture, you have all the specifics here. यहां क्या कर रहे हो? Without elaboration, you are just mentioning those key points that make India great. आप लोग क्या ये सारा लिख रहे हो बैठ के? Oh no, you are supposed to listen to this. ठीक है, लिख रहे हो तो कोई बात नहीं, ठीक है? I am only demonstrating using a hypothetical statement. आपको समझना है ये चीज, ना कि नोट्स बना के फेंक देना है. So I am only explaining how this summarization is not really repetition of what you have done here. यहां पर तो आपने डिटेल में elaborate किया है. What makes India? Voice is breaking for all of you, or is it just some of you? Is it better now? ठीक, okay, fine, ठीक. So I will repeat some of the points I have mentioned. ठीक है? Now listen. What I am saying is, I took up a you don't have to write all of this down. ठीक है? अभी आप चुपचाप सुन लो ना, हम क्या समझा रहे हैं आपको. I'm explaining some things to you. I took up a hypothetical statement. India is a great society. Okay, a hypothetical statement. Hook, I tried to play with some facts. India is a nation of more than 3,000 years. Okay, with tremendous diversity in culture, in languages, and religion. Okay, so this could be my hook. Okay, this could be the hook. Okay, I've increased the volume also now. Then I went to theses. In theses, I try not using the words of the topic. I'm paraphrasing with other set of words. So our country, which is Bharat, also called Hindustan, is one of the greatest nations. Okay, one of the most fascinating cultures in the world. ठीक है, तो theses में मैंने rephrase कर दिया. ठीक है. Then I come to narration. Narration में, okay, I can use Coates principle. I can compare India, China, India and the world, India, Australia. मैंने comparison कर लिया. Origin, I've gone back to Harappan civilization, the ancient cultures and Guptas. We are a great nation. Our art, culture. I've been describing. Okay, I can describe the details. India में क्या क्या चीज है? I'm describing here. Okay, so I can use that narration. Then I said, the body may I enter, I start giving reasons. Why is India a great society? Great because India has diversity. India reaffirms the value of non-violence. India is great because We have been united together despite our contradictions. Okay, and we have done this for more than 70 years. That's a pretty long time in a country's history, खासकर since independence. Our art, our culture, our technologies, so our body. That yes, we agree that we are a great nation. Conclusion में, okay. Now I'm saying conclusion. I start with summarization. Summarizations में क्या है? I use the word therefore. I just restate it. Therefore, our country is a great society. Therefore, our nation is a unique and a wonderful civilization. Okay. Therefore, our society with its diversity, with its technology, okay, with its exemplary history and art, we are a great society. यहाँ पर क्या किया है? When I'm telling why is India great, I'm elaborating here. I'm using examples of people, example of places, example through history, example of our achievements. मैंने यहाँ पे elaboration किया है. In the conclusion, I need not elaborate. Okay. In my conclusion, I just mention that we are great. It's like I'm summing up here. Okay. Then after summarizing, reassert part of same things more or less. Okay. Then probably I can talk of some solutions related to how can we keep our India country great. Okay. Therefore, okay, the great society that we are, we must continue to preserve and maintain and encourage diversity. Okay. Government must have investments in documenting, investments in promoting cultural diversity. So I offered some solutions where that despite technology and innovation, our cultural ethos and our value systems should not get eroded. Okay, so I have a summary reassertion. Then I have talked about solution, something like what can we do in the future, and futuristic. Okay, tell us about the future. Therefore, if we can do this, India can be a bright example to many other multicultural societies. If we can do this, India can be a role model. India can be a role model for many new emerging countries and economies. Are you all alert here? Did you understand what I have done here? You start with a summarization and reassertion. You go towards some solutions, mention it, and futuristic. अगर हम ये कर पाएंगे, तो future में क्या हो सकता है? It's great for the world's democracy. It's great for Africa. Okay, inspiration for many emerging economies. It's going to be great for. See, if something is great for 15% of the world's population. Okay, we are almost 15% of the world's population. Okay, we are almost 1/5, about 1.3 billion of the world's population. Okay, so this will be a great thing for the whole world. So futuristic में, but if we cannot protect our diversity, okay, then we lose that greatness that we have been destined for. इसमें आप खत्म कर लो ऐसे आप अपना. So two or paragraphs on this, 1 or 2 paragraphs on this, okay, maybe 1 or 2 paragraphs on this, the conclusion is done. Summarization, reassert, take it together, more or less. Summarization and assertion is something you can take up together. Yes, the hook could be a quotation, you can do that, that's your choice. 10% conclusion, क्या अमनदीप मैं समझा नहीं. In 90-10 balance, okay. Oh yes, you can do that also. जो 10 जो आपने छोड़ा हुआ है वो भी ऐड कर सकते हो और ऐड करना चाहो. Generally, that 10 becomes a part of maybe what is futuristic. And if we cannot do this, we run the risk of these kind of problems. Okay, so your conclusion, okay, that's why I always say your conclusion depends on how you have developed your essay. So, conclusion sahi hai ya nahi कहने के लिए, I should know what have you written in the previous 7-8 pages. Your conclusion should be seamless in terms of carrying forward what you have said. Name dropping, that's a very not well said, but yes, you have to drop some ideas and leave it. Don't elaborate too much. Okay? So this is just a demonstration of a sentence. I mean, do not copy all of this down in your notes right now. So what I am demonstrating is your conclusion can be any of these things. ऐसे canvas में जो आपका conclusion है, ऐसे canvas में जो conclusion है, okay, your conclusion, I said, is summarize and reassert, which is something like rephrasing. Your conclusion can be a series of solutions. Your conclusion can be futuristic. Okay, can you give a story in a book? संकेत, बेटा ऐसे का ना कोई रूल नहीं है. अगर आप कर सकते हो तो करो. What we are suggesting is a general format. Okay, a general format में this goes. But ये थोड़ी कोई rule है. You cannot have creativity here. How can we use the left out reasons? Left out reasons डाल दो and the solutions में add कर दो. Left out reasons summarize में कर लो आप. जो आपने छोड़ दिया था, I am a good boy. I am a good boy because okay, I study well, I play well, I help everybody else. Okay, because I take care of my siblings. Okay, because I am a disciplined person. I am a good boy. Okay, because I am also empathetic. So initially, I'm a good boy because I study well, I play well, and I help others. Conclusion में, therefore I'm a good boy because I have empathy, because I am disciplined, and I help my siblings too. अभी भी कर सकते हो. So जो आपका छूट गया है, whatever you could not take up initially, you could take up here as a part of summarization. Okay, conclusion can be used to comprehensiveness. ये summarization का मतलब ही है comprehensiveness. You are trying to summarize everything together so that you can touch on all the important points which you otherwise would have missed out. Okay? And giving solutions in futuristic, this makes your essay a bit more complete. It makes your essays a bit more complete. Okay? So the solution is not a paragraph. The solution runs into 2 to 2.5 pages, and there are 4 themes around which you can conclude. No, you don't need to write conclusion. Mangalam, not zaruri nahi hai. Okay, ये आपका flow में ही आ जाएगा that you have moved on towards conclusion. You don't need to write down the conclusion word as a heading in your essay. ठीक है? Will solution relate dimensions earlier? Chinmay, yes. Okay, partly yes and partly कुछ extra भी हो सकता है, Chinmay. It need not only be what you have discussed earlier. मैं कहा ना जो point छूट गया है, वो आप यहाँ ले आओ और क्या? All the 4 करो तो it is easy to manage. But some of you can choose. Okay, now Nidhi is asking me something. Nidhi is asking me in the conclusion, should we have all the 4 elements? Okay, I will suggest if you have all the 4 elements, then you can write a bit better. अगर मैं कहूँ ना कि conclusion में सिर्फ summarize रखो, keep only summarization for conclusion, then you cannot summarize for 2 pages. If I say no, only give solution for 2 pages, I say no. 2 page में solution लिखना, okay, again can become tedious. So keep a mix. Some summary, some solutions, some futuristic, and you are done. Your conclusion depends on how you have developed your body. That's why it's difficult for me to conclude about whether your conclusion is good or not until I know आपके body में आपने क्या क्या लिखा है. ठीक है? Can we go against the stand in a smoother way? क्यों करना चाहोगे गिरीश? Okay, unless it's a very strong point. Okay, why do you want to go against? Against जाना है, तो maybe a bit on the futuristic one. You can do that. Be careful. Use your wisdom. Basically, you can do that, but we do it carefully. Okay. Now listen. I'm moving on. Okay, I'm moving on now. Ab conclusion में, okay, we have conclusion में you have summary and reassertion. The conclusion has some reference to solutions. Okay. The conclusion can have some India reference, जो अगर आपने छोड़ दिया है तो, okay. The conclusion can be futuristic. Okay, so ये मैं एक और ऐड कर रहा हूं. If you want, you could also add some India reference, but remember, this should be only mentioning. Don't elaborate here. Conclusions में there are no elaborations. There are no elaborations. Summary assertion, ये कहां से आएगा? Anybody? जो summary है, assertion है, ये कहां से आएगा? This will come from the essay itself, your body, correct? From the body plus what you could not write on. Just mention this here. Okay? The summary and assertion comes from your body. It comes from, okay, it comes from the dimensions you have elaborated. Plus, maybe you could not write on some things, so mention them here. This is your summary assertion. Solutions may, okay, you can be specific in highlighting some important priority area. Okay? Solution में आपको सिर्फ मेंशन करना है ना, आपको यहां पर elaborate नहीं करना है. So solution में be specific in highlighting certain priority areas. ठीक है? ये priority areas generally, can you tell me what are the priority areas for the world today? Anybody knows? Gender issues, yes. What else? Health is priority. What else? Okay. Poverty, inequality is an important aspect. Okay. Information, social media is an important aspect. Touch on some human rights. Okay, ठीक है. So you pick up one or two of them, not everything. Okay. India is a great society. Okay, because okay, the way we probably have managed many major health ailments, the way we have been managing polio, the way we're trying to manage malnutrition in a developing country. India is a great country, okay, because despite our economic constraints, gender issues have been an important debate. We have tried to democratize our political system by giving equal vote to our women. Despite our constraints and limitations, our constitution has a lot of elements of human rights, which many other developing countries have not been able to add. Despite our resource constraints, poverty alleviation, employment generation, India as a welfare state has always kept poverty as a major concern to deal with. Pick up something important. एक आध sentence में आपने डाल देना है. Okay, under solution. Information. We are great because the way we have been able to integrate our economy with the digital world. Software, digitization. Okay, we are probably one of the biggest manpowers in the digital technology. So we are great. Because solutions में, you try to be specific about certain priority areas. You try to be specific about certain key important areas जो आपका probably focus areas. If you have not touched Indian dimension here, तो आप अलग से India का mention कर सकते हो. Now you tell me in India, what are the important issues? In India, what are the important issues? Unemployment. Important, जो बहुत ही डिबेट डिस्कशन में है अभी, अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट, पॉवर्टी, और क्या है इंडिया में बहुत क्या इंपॉर्टेंट है. सोशल हार्मनी इशू इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. और क्या इंपॉर्टेंट इंडिया में? एग्रीकल्चर बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. और क्या इंपॉर्टेंट है? सिक्योरिटी बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. सी, डोंट फॉरगेट द वर्ल्ड अराउंड यू राइट नाउ. इंडिया इज अ ग्रेट. नाउ सी, बहुत न्यूज में है सिक्योरिटी, सॉवरेनिटी. इंडिया इज अ ग्रेट नेशन बिकॉज डिस्पाइट लिविंग इन सच डिफिकल्ट नेबरहुड, इंडिया डज नॉट हैव अ हिस्ट्री ऑफ aggression against any of its neighbors. We have never been the aggressor with our neighbors. That's what makes India great. Despite the fact of our constraints that we have, we were among the first to have mobilized, or among the first to have, you can say, prioritized agriculture-based development issues. Say something there. So अगर आपका solution में आप से topic is not telling you about India, so bring India अलग से ले आना. But when you bring India, make sure you bring the issues which are in news. Contextual issues आप उठा के लेके आ रहे हैं. ठीक है? Yes, you can, that's your choice. And now come towards futuristic में. When you want to comment on futuristic, what are the issues will you link something with? Anybody? What are the 2-3 issues that you think you can link anything, with those discussions? Generic batao. Yes, you can link it with you can link anything with environment and climate change. You can link anything with conflicts and geopolitical aspects. You can link anything with poverty, unemployment. You can link anything with technology. कुछ भी टॉपिक पूछेगा ना, ये 4-5 एरिया से पक्का you can take the discussion towards the future. India is a great nation, and we hope India will also set examples in how we can take forward our agenda of climate change. After all, India has been the nation which has focused on solar mission. We have been the founder, initiative taker in the International Solar Alliance. Take it towards that. Conflict resolution. India is therefore a harbinger in terms of offering solutions to the conflicts of the world. With our non-violence ethos, we can be exemplary in promoting global cooperation. Futuristic. India's technological revolution, starting with globalization, can be the example for the whole world to adopt a digital platform for their economy. Take it futuristic. Okay, futuristic में ये 4 things you can add to any discussion as a part of the future world. ठीक है? So what I have done is, number 1, I said, conclusion is not one paragraph. Number 2, I said, there are 4 elements of conclusion. And now 3rd, I am telling you how or what can you develop on, okay, for your conclusion. What can you develop on? You can develop on summarizing using the details from the body. What can you develop on? You can develop on solutions. Don't elaborate. Pick up some of these issues: gender, health, poverty, information world. Okay. India specific leke aao. So bring something which is more critical to our present day current affairs development. जो आपके आसपास हो रहा है, something which is new, something which is contextual. Okay. And futuristic में जाओ, every topic we can have a technology angle future में, a poverty angle future में, a conflict geopolitical angle future का, environment climate change future का. Just as we had a formula on how to introduce a topic, now this can be the formula of how can you conclude the topic. Pragya, you do not have too much scope to really get into details of the nudge effect here, but you can still have something specific. See, being specific is the rule. जितना specific हो पाओगे, okay, जितना diverse हो पाएगा, your essay will be richer. So the more reading you have, okay, on the specifics, the better. Okay, so if I can move on now. I believe all of you have written this down. Can I move on? Okay, so I'm just trying to summarize this now. Okay, so in your conclusion, your conclusion canvas है. And see, conclusion, I mean, ऐसे कहा जाएगा तो every part वैसे is equally important. But conclusion now is kind of the proper packaging. Okay, conclusion gives your essay a sense of completeness. In many cases, examiners read the first 2 or 3 pages, quickly run through the body of the essay, and focus on the last 1 or 2 pages. I mean, that's how typically, okay, lot of answers are checked. You might say it's unfair, मेरा पूरा essay पढ़ा नहीं है, okay? But it'll be nice if you appreciate that this is the reality. No examiner reads your essay word by word or line by line. At best, पहले का 1-2 पेज ढंग से देखते हैं. Then they quickly see through, okay, your body, and the end, okay, toward the last 1 or 2 pages, they run up. So conclusion pe you should be focusing on, so that you do not lose the overall packaging of the essay. So if you write, I mean, this is my recommendation to you. 1.5 hours is the essay, okay? Into 2-3 hours का essay. One essay जो 1.5 hours है, इसको आप divide कैसे करते हो? how do you divide your essay in writing time? First 10 minutes में do the directed brainstorming, which means the keywords, the alternate words, frame the generic questions. Okay, ये सब जो आपका बेसिक काम है, do that in the first 10 minutes. Remaining approximately about 20 minutes में, okay, you try to write down the thesis, write down the specific questions, okay, think about what your hook can be. ये 20 minutes to about 25 minutes में ये काम हो जाना चाहिए. Then your actual body starts. Your actual body and the actual essay. This is the actual essay writing. The actual essay writing, okay, this you have about less than 1 hour. Less than 1 hour में keep approximately 30 minutes for the conclusion. Okay, about 30 minutes. So your effective writing for the essay is going to be about, okay, approximately about 40 minutes. 40 minutes approximately, 30 minutes approximately for the conclusion. So conclusion, so go by your watch. The moment you are hitting the last half an hour, last 20 minutes, try to develop the essay towards conclusion. Otherwise, panic ho jata hai. Okay, you will start panicking. You will not be able to manage your conclusion properly. And conclusion is, I said, 2.5 pages. If your thesis and hook is done well here, your introduction is properly taken care of. So this is the approximate time management breakup. 10 minutes में, within 10 minutes, finish your directed brainstorming. Keywords क्या हैं, alternate words क्या हैं, what are the generic questions, finish that off in the first 10 minutes. Remaining 20-25 क्वेश्चन में थीसिस रफ में, ये सब रफ में चल रहा है. रिमेंबर दिस इज ऑल इन द रफ. रफ में थीसिस लिख लो. List down the specific questions. Think of what your hook can be. Okay. And the actual writing में, you are actually writing the essay for about 30-40 minutes. Or last half an hour, 20 minutes में, I said, move towards conclusion now. This is a very important part of the essay. Don't ignore this. Okay? So, this is more or less the conclusion ka format. The conclusion canvas, I repeat, summary ho thoda bahut. Talk about solution plus Indian dimension. And link it towards something futuristic. How much time for the main body? 40 minutes है ना आपका? 30 to 40 minutes is your main body. 30-40 minutes for the main body. Approximately about, okay, 10 minutes per dimension. Per dimension approximately 10 minutes होगा आपका. How to quickly choose 2 topics. Paras इसमें कोई formula नहीं है. It has to be your gut feeling. The more you practice, the better. तो अभी आप practice करके जाओ, okay, so that you will not waste time thinking about the topic in the examination. Okay, and while doing this, 8 पेजेस तो मुश्किल होता है, बट 6 पेजेस इन 40 मिनट्स हो सकता है. 8 pages as in the higher side. Okay. 2.5 page introduction, 2.5 page conclusion. आपका 10 पेज कैसे है, राइट? 2.5 पेज इंट्रोडक्शन, 2.5 पेज कंक्लूजन, 5 से 6 पेज का होता है आपका बॉडी. 5 to 6 pages. Because a lot of introduction you already have developed as a part of your brainstorming. That is why in your essay, एक essay आपका 1000-1200 का बन जाएगा. Second essay generally you cannot write more than 800 or 900 words. So आपका essay number 1 जो है, essay number 1, this is approximately 1000 to 1200 words. जो essay number 2 है, this is generally less than 900 words. Okay, the second essay generally gets squeezed. Category 1 is abstract essay. वो तो डिपेंड करेगा वो कैसे पूछ रहे हैं. पुण्य, how can I generalize that for now? The first gets squeezed. जनरली पहला वाला को स्क्वीज मत करना, सेकंड वाला स्क्वीज हो जाता है. नो वर्क फॉर कंक्लूजन. कंक्लूजन के लिए यही ब्रॉड आइडिया के छोड़ देना. बल्क ऑफ कंक्लूजन ऑल्सो कम्स फ्रॉम योर ब्रेनस्टॉर्मिंग. प्रीवियस ईयर्स क्वेश्चंस कर तो रहे हैं बेटा हम लोग. I have discussed around 17 to 18 topics by now, and I have done the previous year's questions. We have done that, and we'll take up some more. Okay, fine. Let's move on now. In the solutions, okay, there are 2 dimensions I want you to know a bit more detail में. No, Bhagyashri, all the topics can have the same type of conclusions. The format can be same. वो statement हो, question हो, abstract कुछ भी हो, you can follow same format for all the type of essays. I want all the 3. It will be better. Issue if you have all the 3, it will be better because then you do not need to elaborate any one thing too much. Okay? Achha, let's get started now. The solution में my suggestion is there are 3 things you can read a bit more and develop a good content. एक है governance. Okay? Second है managing information and social media. And third is issues related to environment and ecology. Any problem of the world. These are the 3 elements which are part of almost all solutions. Governance and the role of institutions and the role of democratic engagements. Okay, ये एक एस्पेक्ट है सोल्यूशन का. एक और एस्पेक्ट ऑफ सोल्यूशन है मैनेजिंग इंफॉर्मेशन, सोशल मीडिया, मैनेजिंग अवेयरनेस, और इसी के अंदर में आ जाएगा इश्यूज ऑफ एडुकेशन, इश्यू ऑफ डेटा मैनेजमेंट, समथिंग अराउंड इंफॉर्मेशन, social media. Okay, and third is any type of problem, there will be an environmental and ecology issues. And when I say environment ecology, this also includes concerns related to the indigenous population. Okay, local population. It includes the rural areas. It includes aborigines. Environment ecology also includes some elements of poverty. So in the solutions, these are, say if I ask you, let me give an example. Let me give an example. Say you are discussing women issues. Okay, women issues. Can we give an example of governance angle in women issues? Anybody? Can you give me a governance angle in women issues? Anybody? Equal wages, reservation, policing, okay. Yes, gender complaints, ठीक है? Reservation, judiciary, absolutely correct. So how do we deal with women issues? एक बहुत important है, get your governance right, get your legal institutions in place, okay, set up proper centers for complaints redressal, ठीक है? वो governance issues, institutions हो रहा है, democratic engagement हो रहा है. Now, in women issues, can you tell me what are the information, social media awareness angles? Okay? Yeah, Vishaka guidelines, NCW, तो आगे आपका governance angle में. Like information trolling, yes. Trolling, social media abuse, pornography, cyber stalking, cyber bullying, yes, absolutely. Okay, online bullying, okay, social media angle वहां पर आ गया. Your data ठीक करो, data related to okay, atrocities, data related to okay, what are the events. So, all of you here, there is a governance angle in women, there is an information, social media angle of women. What is the ecology, environment angle of women? Anybody? Women issues में water issues, absolutely. Women agriculture, yes. Rural areas, yes. Okay, tribal women, absolutely. Okay, feminization of agriculture, yes. Okay, malnutrition, disaster, absolutely. There is a disaster vulnerability of women. आप कोई भी टॉपिक उठा लो ना, take up any topic. Say, I talk about an angle called as, I talk about an issue called as scientific temper and rationality. Okay? I've taken up a discussion point called as scientific temper and rationality. अब बताओ, इससे governance angle क्या है? Okay, yeah, please. What is the governance angle of scientific, okay, temper, rationality? Governance angle क्या है? Scientific temper and rationality. Okay, yes, talking about democratic institutions. You're talking about consensus-based decision making. You're talking about, okay, democratic engagement, like evidence-based decisions, okay, IT Act, yes. What is the social media information angle of scientific rationality? What is the social media information aspect? Anybody? Education, misinformation, data analytics, spreading awareness. What is the environmental angle of scientific rationality? Green economy, development and environment, they are two complementary ideas. Okay, science also means environmental sustainability. Rationality also means acknowledging environmental limits. Yes, development using climate, you can go on there. Anything, any topic. Take up education. Take up education. Education में बताओ, okay, what is the institution angle of education? What is Yes, RTE, RTE, we have schools, okay, HRD ministry, higher education institutions, okay, funds allocation, part of governance, EUGC, okay, education reforms की बात हो रही है, fine. What is the social media information angle of education? MOOCs, online education, yes. Okay, self-learning, distant learning, yes. Okay, talk about the startups, ed tech startups. ठीक है? Again, data analytics. What's the environmental angle of education? Anybody? What's the environmental angle of education? Awareness. Environment education itself, yes. Okay. Grassroots education, yes, absolutely. Environment angle of education. We also have to include disaster management in our curriculum. You go on there. देखो आप, women issues, scientific rationality, education, कुछ भी उठाओगे ना बेटा, you take up anything, any topic in your discussion, ये तीन dimension पक्का रहेगा. The governance angle, the information and social media angle, and environment ecology angle. Okay? So let me elaborate a bit more on the social media information aspects. Okay. Geopolitical aspect. Okay. You can include geopolitical aspect in environment. You can also include geopolitical aspect as a part of governance. You can talk in terms of international institutions to manage geopolitics on issues. तो geopolitics जो है वो governance angle में आ जाएगा. Rights, okay, participation, developing country groupings, trade blocks will come under institutions and governance में आ जाएगा. The theme I'm discussing today is information, okay, and the social media. I think it's a very important, okay, theme. You can use this across many discussions. Okay, information and social media. So keep writing, please. Okay. So the first point here is that the times we live in, okay, ये जो times है that we live in, it is often referred to as the times of information society. It's often referred to as the times of information society. I'm sure you've heard about this idea that in today's time, data is the new oil. Okay, information is the new capital. Okay, this is often talked about. ये जो idea है, this idea of information society, this idea and this term was first coined by this man called as Fritz Malczak. I don't know how you pronounce his name. Okay, FRITZMACHLUP. He coined this word, information society, and he wrote a book in 1933. Okay, a book which was about how patents are being used. It's about the effect of patent. It was about the effect of patents on research. Okay, so he coined this word that we live in an information society. Number two, this is a very important man. Okay, Toffler, if you know this man, okay, He has written two very famous books. The Third Wave, okay, is a very famous book. Alvin Toffler, Alvin Toffler, Alvin Toffler. He wrote a book called The Third Wave, and he wrote another book called as Future Shock. Okay. In both these books, he talks about the emergence of, again, this was way back, in 1990s की बात हो रही है. Okay, it's almost like he was foreseeing the future. Effect of patents on research, yes, the effect of patents on research. The another man you can refer to is man called Alvin Toffler. He is one of those thought leaders. I hope you know who thought leaders are. Okay, they are the people who influence thought. Okay, they give us new philosophies, new ideas. Okay, so Alvin Toffler, you can use these names as a part of your nudge effect. Okay, और ऐसे खत्म हो जाए तो आप इसे उल्टा के देख लेना नेट में, whatever you can read through. So this man talked about the emergence of a society, that would be controlled, and that would be managed using information. Okay, that would be controlled and managed using images and symbols. In fact, he talked about how cultures can be influenced by actionable data. Okay, so Alvin Toffler, he wrote two books, The Third Wave और एक किताब था Future Shock. In these books, he talks about emergence of a society that could be controlled by information, by images, by symbols, cultures that can be influenced by actionable body. Not actionable body. Oh, sorry, actionable data. Sorry. Somebody says yes, buddy, so I also say buddy. By actionable data. And Alvin Toffler, he talks about the emergence of super industrial societies. Okay, super industrial society. If you look at societies, our societies may, if you look at the way the society has been developing, we had tribal societies. From this, we had agrarian and feudal societies, and then we had societies which were industrial. Industrial were production based, industrial labor based. Industrial societies, they were based on what's called as material production and material knowledge. Material economy. Now he says there will be a society which is going to be super industrial. The super industrial society hai. This society will be controlled by knowledge. This society will be controlled by higher level skills, particularly communication, and these will grow on immaterial economy. When you say material, I'm talking about things. Okay. When you say immaterial, फिर ये knowledge है, innovations हैं, ideas हैं. Okay. So in your nudge effect, you could use these names. Alvin Toffler's ideas about a super industrial society. Now, this information society is also considered synonymous with post-industrial societies. They're considered synonymous with post-industrial societies. If you know something, otherwise don't bother. There's something called as postmodernism. अगर आपको पता है तो अच्छी बात है, otherwise forget about it. But just know this idea that postmodernism as a development has almost paralleled the evolution of information society. Modernism, if you look at your traditional history, modernism is almost equated with industrial revolution. So what is postmodern? What is post-industrial? Okay, what is postmodern is also the information society. In this society, the dynamics of life and cultures are very different from the dynamics of life and culture in the industrial world. हमारा communication हो, हमारा priorities हैं, our socialization. So what has happened? Okay, what has happened that in the post-society, modern society, or in the post-industrial society, जो है ये वाला, this society has differences in three elements. Our communication has changed. Communication has changed. Our measures of wealth has changed. Okay. And very importantly, it has impacted our social relations. Okay. In the post-industrial society, in the post-modernism, in the information society, we are saying three things have changed. Our communication forms and mediums have changed. Our measure of wealth, how we measure wealth. When you are a feudal society, you measure wealth in terms of land. When you are industrial society, you measure wealth in terms of industrial output, in terms of capital that you invest. In information society, you measure wealth in terms of knowledge, data, skills, and so on. And a very important third element which has changed is our social relationships. Okay, ये कुछ insights हैं. Okay, you can use all of this. Yes. Okay, information society जो word है, that was coined by Fritz, but the word super industrial was coined by this man called Alvin Toffler. Okay, Alvin Toffler, and the ideas almost seem to be same if you're comparing what kind of society we live in today. Okay, so use this in your essays. I move on here. Now, some facts and data around this. So facts and data जो आप use कर सकते हो around this conversation. Okay, take down some data. So we are approximately, say 2019-2020 की बात हो रही है. We are approximately around 7.5 billion population. I'm rounding off the numbers to convenient numbers. 7.3 बोल लो, 7.5 बोल लो, approximate रखो. Okay, we are approximately 7.5 billion population, of which around 4 to 5 billion are already using internet. 4 billion are almost 4 billion are active social media. They're active social media users. Okay, and if you look at the facts, okay, the growth of social media users is more than almost 10%. It is approximately, not more than bolo. So it is approximately about 10% annually. 10% annually. And in the social media, very importantly, okay, there has been a rapid okay, growth even in the poorer nations. A rapid growth even in the poorer nations. तो ये डेटा का बहुत सारा सोर्स है. The source that I am referring to is this 2020 global digital overview. एक ये सोर्स है और एक है यूएस में Pew analysis. Okay, Pew is also a data collection, okay, center. So even they mention this, the Pew analysis. Okay, so rapid growth even in case of the poorer nations. Okay, the fifth point here is that millennials and Generation Z, खास कर ये वाले. Okay, overview, yes. 2020 global digital overview. This is one source. और एक है Pew analysis, PEW. Pew analysis. Okay. Now they also add that the millennials and the Generation Z. I hope you know who are Generation Z. Called as Generation Y. Okay, Generation Z है the 1990s onwards जो है. Yes, so these are almost entirely dependent on okay, online based interactions. खास कर ये वाले online based interactions. Just remember this. Generation Y, okay, this is early 1990s. Generation Z, those born towards the later 1990s. Okay, they're almost entirely okay, dependent on online based interactions. And if you look at the usage, okay, there's important data here. Look at the usage. 90% of online, 90% of online, okay, usage is cornered by 10 major platforms. Okay, 10 major platforms, or 10 major platforms में the largest users belong to Facebook. The largest belong to Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. Okay. One of the latest one, जो बहुत recent आया है within 5 years, of course you know, is TikTok. Okay, So very rapidly this has grown. Okay, so ये कुछ data है, and one more data you might know is that India is one of the fastest okay, movers onto the online medium. So we started a bit slowly because of our infrastructure, but we are one of the fastest movers onto the online medium. So ये कुछ data आप use कर सकते हो, some facts. Okay, what is the concept of information society and how it's moving towards online consumption. Okay, so India is one of the fastest movers. India is among the fastest movers onto the online medium. This is very generic data. Okay, I'm moving on. Now, one very important debate about online medium is, or social media, is regulation. ये एक बहुत important debate है. I'm asking you, what do you think? Should online medium be regulated or not? Or should we continue to use the principles of freedom of speech? Anybody? Should we have regulation or not? Okay. If no, why? If yes, why? Now see, the debates about regulation, okay, it comes from the debates are from the principle of freedom of speech. Freedom of speech hai? We need freedom of journalism. We see freedom of speech as a harbinger. Okay. Okay. Freedom of speech as a harbinger for innovation. Freedom of speech as the basis of political empowerment. This has been the traditional view of things. Okay? You have some points, but listen to this. The original idea is that we need freedom of speech. Freedom of speech for journalism, freedom of speech, okay, for innovation, freedom of speech for political empowerment. Okay, it was part of political rights. Okay, freedom of information and speech is inclusive in our Article 21. कुछ हद तक. It is also enshrined in our freedom for religious beliefs. This was the idea. But social media changes many things. Yeah, sorry, Article 19. Article 19. Yeah, sorry. 19, yes. Now, social media, this has changed many notions. It changed notions में एक बहुत important notion ये change हुआ है that social media increasingly is now racist. Social media encourages bigotry. Social media is divisive. Social media has encouraged terrorism and lone wolf attacks. Social media has been used for political advertising, and it is also a security threat. social media is not really balanced. Okay, one of the fastest mediums of fake information and fake news. Okay, in fact, the consequences, okay, because of online content, but it's an important point. The incentives for investing in bona fide information is less. Information is less. The investment, the incentives for developing, okay, journalism is less. Okay, this is one of the stark realities. Because of online content, the way it is spreading, investment for bona fide information is less. Do you understand this idea? Bona fide का मतलब क्या होता है? What is true, what is substantiated by evidences, okay, what is authentic, okay, investigative journalism, yes, because what we realized is that the incentives for sensationalism is very, very high. Okay, so the true journalism hai, okay, the true information based, okay, content jo hai, that has progressively declined. So what you are seeing is, you are seeing a lot of fake news around, and many a times these fake news are more popular even after people knowing that it is fake news. Okay? So isse kya ho gaya hai? The consequence of this is the economics of information generation and distribution. The economics of information generation and distribution has changed. Okay. Today, very important point. Here, looking at today, if you look at, okay, information is not controlled by writers. Information is controlled by technology and coders. Those who control information are not bona fide writers anymore. The journalism kind of has gone beyond the control of journalists. Okay. Who are more important are the tech guys and those who can code, those who can develop algorithms, those who can develop software, okay, those who understand what's called as search engine optimization. Aapka, if you know about YouTube and the rest, your popularity on the YouTube is not always on the basis of your content. It's also on the basis of how you optimize your search on platforms like Google. Okay. And Google YouTube, I hope you know they are same family. They belong to same, okay, same company, yes? The Facebook and okay, WhatsApp, ये एक ही family है. So your technology and coders, those who can code information and develop algorithms, they control information. Like, it is not controlled by bona fide writers. It is not controlled by bona fide, okay, journalists. So जब ये वाला approach आ गया है, we say lot of our assumptions about freedom of speech now stands challenged. Okay, so what has happened is, are you all keeping pace with me? Are you all keeping pace with me? Okay, so what I'm saying is that because of this, okay, because of the above dynamics, the traditional, okay, notions of freedom of speech is now crumbling. Okay, we say now, अब क्या हो रहा है? Now, lack of regulation is actually impacting freedom of speech in spirit. Today, freedom of speech is essentially misused and monopolized by FANGs. Name of the journalist. मुझे एक काम करो, if you know about mention of journalism, but you realize this rate say journalists are coming up, okay, and analysis is being done. It is not a work of years of journalistic investigations. You know, देखो अंकुर, मुझे एक आर्टिकल लिखना है ना, I can write an article on the basis of half an hour reading across 4 sites. I read Google, I read couple of free articles on some research papers, I read some articles or some videos मैंने देखा, मिलाकर within half an hour my article is ready and I'll call myself as a journalist. जो investigative journalism था, okay, that is now gone. One. Number two, algorithm tools develop होते हैं. The algorithm tools are developed by, I'm sorry, FANGs. Okay, आप search करोगे, okay, your tools invariably lead you to one of these: Facebook, Amazon, Apple, okay, Netflix, Google, Snapchat. इसमें आप add कर लो Instagram probably. Okay, that's what I say, that today जो है freedom of speech is essentially misused and monopolized by FANGs. Okay, because of which the traditional notion of freedom of speech no longer exists. In fact, online mediums have the capability of micro targeting their users. I hope you know what I mean by micro targeting their users. ये सुना है आपने? What is micro targeting of users? Okay, so you are able to exactly know what the preferences are, okay, what are the what are those idiosyncrasies, what are the biases. You can use cookies and you can target specific information to some people alone. So ये बहुत high level of data management है. Now this is what exactly Russia did in the US elections. Okay, the way YouTube throws up suggestions to you. The YouTube throws up suggestions based on your viewing habits. Okay, and not just that, they can influence how you think. Okay, so what this can do is, rather than help develop views and ideas, they can actually decide and promote views and ideas. This is the challenge we have today. आप information देखेंगे, okay, for the sake of developing an unbiased view, you actually end up, okay, fed into information which is suitable for the purpose of certain media players, certain online platforms. Yes, Ankita, something referred to as post-truth. अगर ये words पता है तो use कर सकते हो, but then don't overuse it. This is typically what's called as the dystopic society. This is the Orwellian society. ये terms use कर सकते हैं आप. Okay. Rather than help develop views and ideas, okay, these online platforms can decide and promote the views and ideas that they want you to have. Okay, so this leads to what's called as dystopic societies or Orwellian societies. Yes, some big brother controlling. Okay, so this is the challenge. So under these circumstances, the notions of, okay, I mean, इसमें क्या है? We say fiction and fact blend. You cannot differentiate from what is right from what is wrong. Fiction and fact blend. Okay, and natural and self-regulation has become obsolete. Okay, देखो freedom of speech का एक बहुत important notion था that it can be self-regulated. You need not control. Okay, but now we say the self-regulation as a concept has become obsolete. देखो, in the older world, anti-social and abusive behavior would get socially penalized. How? Anybody? In the older world, which was before this social media, antisocial and abusive behavior would get socially penalized, absolutely, by ostracizing, by boycotting. We would have social censor. We would have okay. We would have social penalties. We would boycott. We would ostracize. We would isolate. We would apply sanctions. And why was this possible? ये possible क्यों था? Why was this possible? Because our norms were rigid. And what else? The norms were rigid. I'm not saying strong value system, that's a different thing. हमारे norms rigid थे. Okay? Because of identity of the perpetuator was known. Okay? Okay? But now this has changed. Our norms are more fluid. At least as of now, there is lot of fluidity. Norms are fluid. बहुत rapidly change हो रहा है. And important is anonymity. Okay, the people are now faceless. Because of anonymity, a very important thing happening is antisocial behavior can find its kind easily and can form their communities. Okay? Because of anonymity. I hope you understand this point. When you are discussing social media and its ill effect, I think this is a very important analysis of our present day situation. Okay, traditional में, why would we need and why would freedom of speech succeed? Because traditional systems में, the norms were more rigid. Like, I'm not saying वो good है या bad है. Lot of bad norms also were rigid. And the identity of the perpetuator, whoever was perpetuating the antisocial message ho, antisocial behavior ho, the identity was known. But today the challenge is the norms are more fluid, rapidly changing. Okay, and the anonymity gives people a faceless identity. Exactly, Neha, you're right. वो जो लॉकर रूम का जो इश्यूज था, you had this social media group ना, the locker room boys in Instagram. Yes, okay, so if you're antisocial, you end up finding your type. Like you are, yes, boys, boys, exactly. You find your type faster. And you can form your communities that gives you a sense of belonging. And this is what has perpetuated what's called as the dark net. You have got people, okay, heckling, pedophiles, social, antisocial behaviors, terrorism. Right? So all of this is part of that advantage which the social media gives. Okay, so this has to be managed in a very different way. Adhiraj, what was fake? The locker room controversy was fake. I do not know. I don't think so. I don't know. It was by a girl or whoever was doing it. I'm not concerned about the identity here. It wasn't fake. The identities were fake. वो अलग बात है. वो girl है या boy है, whatever. ठीक है. The point is, it does give people that kind of anonymity. Okay. उसमें तो कुछ और issues of जादवपुर यूनिवर्सिटी भी आया है. Okay. उसमें भी एक इशू रहा है, वो फेक है या रियल है, उसमें भी डिबेट्स रहा है. Okay, some kind of a pen drive with lot of censored photographs and conversations. Okay, so you look up examples from that. What we are saying is that it helps people identify their kind and develop communities. So it is under this we say, okay, if you look at this, okay, that is why we insist that social media and information data now needs regulations. But ये regulations में तीन challenge हैं. Okay, one challenge is that we need to decide on what is acceptable base behavior. Okay, this is a very important point. कि base behavior acceptable क्या है? This is important. The second big challenge is, there are three challenges in regulation of social media. One is, what is the acceptable base behavior? Number two, the role of government. And number three, okay, how to penalize and how to censor. Okay, एक बहुत important debate है that private censorship, this will not work. The role of government, what kind of laws they can pass, what type of institutions they can pass. And third is how to penalize, how to punish, how to censor. And private censorship is not going to work. Facebook का अपना है. Okay, every medium says Twitter का अपना censorship है. But that type of self-censorship is not working. But यहाँ पर ये debate भी आता है that governments too should not be given absolute powers, because governments are also known to misuse information. Okay, we have governments using false propaganda. Governments can use it for their election benefits. Okay, governments can end up in what's called as, yes, absolutely, Sushruth. They can end up having a surveillance state. Yes, Pegasus, Cambridge Analytics, absolutely. Cambridge will be private data wala hai, but they can use it. So these three are the challenges that we have to deal with. Remember, when I started that conversation on essays, I said one thing. Essays mein na, you don't have to give solutions every time. Because fact is, इस issue का हमारे पास solution है नहीं. Okay, but we can identify what are the challenges. We can identify broad sense में what should it look like. Okay, yes, what's called as nanny state, police state. Nanny state, we can have police state. Okay, Edward Snowden का issue रहा है, absolutely, you're right. Okay, so these three are the main controversies around social media and information management. What should be declared as the acceptable base behavior? हमारा standards क्या होना चाहिए? what should our standards be, and who will decide it? The role of the government in making laws and institutions, and how do we penalize, how do we discourage, how do we censor, who will do this? Okay, so our principles में neutrality principle, fairness principle, okay, वो आप लिख सकते हो, but do not go by exact solutions, because honestly these kind of things do not have exact solutions, and that is where we are trapped. इस context में you probably need to know a bit about India's IT Act 2000. इसके बाद में we had the amendment, IT Act का amendment 2008. 2008 में there were a couple of very tricky issues that came up. Okay, the issues related to Article 69 इसका है. There is an Article 79. Okay, Article 66. Yes, I think you know from your current affairs what the issues are. Okay, related to again surveillance state, related to okay the privatization of censorship. Yeah, articles. Yes, amendment articles. Correct. Articles or sections. I'm sorry. Yes, you're right. These are the sections, not articles. These are the sections. Okay. So when you're discussing information technology, social media, और मुझे बहुत important लग रहा है, okay, that social media also has lot of issues related to mental health. Okay, we have seen suicides being committed. We have seen people being ostracized. Okay, we have the fear of being left behind. Okay, so mental health angle भी बहुत important है related to social media. So ये जो articles हैं, I will not discuss. This is something for you to know. ITA 2000 was more around digital commerce. 2008 amendment was on the backdrop of Mumbai attacks. Was in the backdrop of Mumbai attacks. Mumbai attacks के बाद में क्या हुआ था? Okay, the provisions that we have somewhere are moving towards developing the surveillance state in the name of security. Okay, NIA ho, yes, you can always talk about all of that. So this is one issue of discussion, and this is another issue of discussion: social media and mental health. Hopefully by maybe tomorrow or day after, I will share a recording with you. Okay, I have a partner who is working with me on the essays. Okay, Mr. Dev Tripathi. Okay, I have a partner with me, Mr. Dev Tripathi. Okay, he and I together are developing a series of videos on some themes. So इनका वीडियो है on social media and mental health. On mental health. Okay, so maybe by tomorrow evening या परसों तक I will share a recorded video by him, and please do. अभी रुक जाओ, I will upload it for you. It's not for everybody. This is not. Dev Tripathi is part of our essays program. Okay. He is one of the promoters of Educemi. So he and I together are working on series of videos which we will start sharing with you. And one of the videos you'll also see some element of conversations also with him. Okay? So he is making a video on social media and mental health. It will be a short video of 30-40 minutes. Okay, make your notes on it. That takes care of your social media information theme. हाँ, आपको हम ऐप में अवेलेबल करा देंगे, either on the app or I'll put it up on your email till our app gets totally functional. ठीक है? So we'll do that for you. And this takes care of 3 themes now. I've discussed globalization. I have discussed poverty, and I've discussed social media. ठीक है? Okay, Ankur, we are working on our own app. I'm working. App will not work on PC. राजा, ये तो बहुत पहले से बता दिया आपको. कोई भी ऐप आपका पीसी में काम नहीं करेगा. Okay, because we have to take care of our privacy rights also and our copyrights also. ठीक है? So app will only be on Android and on iOS, but I'll let you know how ultimately you can use. The feedback is not on mail, it is back on Correcto. Umair, log in into Correcto again with your password. उसमें आपका submit हो चुका है. अगर नहीं हुआ है, we'll let you know. ठीक है? Okay, fine guys. That's for today. We are a long session. Make your notes, summarize it. Okay. And we continue in the next class. Next class on 22nd है. We'll wind up your essay classes on 22nd. I'm going to discuss one more theme and maybe one topic. I'll let you know. ठीक है? उसके बाद we'll come back after the test. Okay, fine. Thank you. Yes, I enjoyed too. Thank you. Take care, all of you. Bye-bye.